So here we are in February. In February, people around the world, at least in the West, they think about Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is a day that celebrates love. But what kind of love is it that's celebrated? Many kinds of love exist in the world. You can't ask a little 5-year-old to expound for hours and hours about love. They are love. They love their parents love them, but mostly that they're involved in taking love from other people. A little bit later on, when people mature, they understand that love is also something that can be given and shared. That's what fuels millions and billions of dollars in Valentine candy and roses and all kinds of things like that. But when you meditate, you discover that there's a deep source of love inside you. Actually, that you are a manifestation of love. It's something that has to be experienced. It can't be talked about very much. But once you understand that, actually I think that there are 3 steps. When you're a child, you understand that you're loved if you live in a healthy family. And that's the basis for fulfillment your whole life, is to have that basic experience. And then maybe a little later, you scrawl your first Mother's Day card, or you pick a flower, you're a little older and you give it to somebody, and you discover that you can be loving. But when you go deep inside in meditation, you discover that you can be understood, or you can experience yourself as love itself. Not needing anything, not really even thinking about giving love, just radiating all the time. And when that happens, you reach a very fulfilled place in your relationships, because relationships become a very spontaneous and easy way of giving and interchanging love, rather than thinking of yourself as an empty vessel that needs to go around finding love to fill up your vessel. There are different ways of expressing love. Sometimes we express love in order to get the other person to express love back. But I had a wonderful experience earlier in my life about someone who was able to express love very spontaneously without any desire for anything to come back to them. Earlier in my life, I worked in a church and found myself in a close relationship with an elderly lady who needed help continuing in her home. I ended up driving her around, helping her get groceries, and we got close. When the time came for me to leave that church, a lot of people came up to me and expressed appreciation for what I'd done when I was there. And she was at the end of the line. And I wasn't sure, because she was probably the closest person I was to in that church, what she'd say. And she came up to me very closely, took both my hands in hers. She was probably 95 years old. She said, most people find it hard to express what's deep in their hearts. She said, and she paused and took a breath. She said, I am very, very fond of you. She looked deeply into my eyes. And then she squeezed my hands again and she said, goodbye. And she walked away. And I never saw her again. And that stands out in my mind, even though it happened like 40 years ago. As someone who experienced themselves as a source of love, it was their nature to express love. But it was also their nature not to look for anything back from that expression. It's a very pure expression of love. And the longer I meditate, the more I value that experience that I experienced from her, and the more I see it sometimes from time to time flowing out of me in that way. Here's love. This is who I am. I'm expressing it. I don't have any need for it to come back in a particular way. This is who I am. When we get a chance to express ourselves on that very deep level, it's a very fulfilling part of being a human being, especially if there's no strings attached. So that's what I really wish for you on Valentine's Day, is to have that one expression of love, not looking for anything back, just out of who you are, coming from deep inside you. Happy Valentine's Day.